Hello. Welcome to the Legislative Building here in Raleigh, North Carolina. My name is Sydney, and I'll be your guide today. We are on a 360 virtual tour, so feel free to look around at any point while I'm talking, and feel free to see all the sides of the Legislative Building as if you were here with us in person. And if you happen to see something that I don't cover today, remember that and ask me if you ever have a chance to come see us in person. So now take a moment and enjoy a bird's eye view of the legislative complex from above. From 1840 to 1962, the legislators actually worked in the state capitol building 1 block south. And in 1963, Edward Durrell Stone, an architect who designed famous buildings in New York City and Washington, D.C., designed this building, the very first of its kind in the United States for lawmakers just to work in. The very first thing that one notices at the Legislative Building is our state seal, actually created by the General Assembly back in colonial times. You see 2 women, Liberty and Plenty, who symbolize our freedom and opportunity as North Carolinians. Our state motto at the very bottom, Esse Quam Videri, which means to be rather than to seem in Latin. And at the very top, you see the date May 20th, 1775, which was the day that the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence was signed, in modern-day Charlotte, to recognize our independence as North Carolinians from the British Empire. Now follow me inside and we'll go through security. Welcome to the South Lobby, the entrance where each visitor and guest comes in to do our security screening process managed by the North Carolina General Assembly Police Department, as demonstrated by the building guide supervisor, Melissa. Because of the North Carolina General Assembly Police Department's work, our building is one of the safest places in North Carolina. Now, right behind me, you can see our beautiful grand red staircase, comprised of 51 steps that leads up to our 3rd floor. Ordinarily, we only let very special people like the governor walk on the red carpet to keep it clean and fresh for everyone that wishes to see it. Today, we're going to walk up the side rail and go up to see what the 3rd floor has to offer. Welcome to the 3rd floor, where the public can see our House and Senate galleries, as well as our rooftop terrace, which we'll visit in just a moment. Right behind me, you can see our beautiful skylight, as well as our 12-foot chandelier, which weighs about the same as a grand piano, 750 pounds. Now, on either side of me, you can see our display cases, which detail different parts of life in North Carolina, and I hope that you can see it one day in person. Now, follow me out to the roof. So now we are on the roof of the Legislative Building, where you can get a bird's eye view of the whole legislative complex and all the scenes around us, including the State Capitol Building to our south, which is where the governor works now, and the Bicentennial Mall. On either side of the mall, you can see the museums of history and science. Now on the roof itself, you can see our 5 skylights and our 4 planters, which are filled with shrubs that complement the copper and stone of the pyramids. Now the planters themselves act as skylights that offer us that work in the building natural light, which make it a very pretty place to work. So now follow me inside to the House Gallery. Welcome to the Visitor Gallery of the House of Representatives, where we can see our lawmakers at work. Here is where they debate ideas that may eventually become North Carolina laws. Anyone can bring an idea to their legislator to become a law, including once upon a time when a 4th grader from Wilson, North Carolina, realized that we didn't have a state vegetable. And because she grew up on a sweet potato farm, she wanted our state vegetable to be a sweet potato. So she contacted her representative in the House and said, we should have a state vegetable, and he agreed. So he drafted a bill. Each person in the House of Representatives and the Senate debated on if that bill would become a good law, and they thought it would. So they sent the bill to the governor to sign, and then it became a law. Now we can go downstairs to see just how that process works. Now we are on the floor of the House chamber. Feel free to take a look around or above to see one of those pyramids that we saw on the roof earlier. Right behind me is the desk of the Speaker of the House, who is the presiding officer over this chamber anytime it's in session, and one of its 120 members. On either side of his desk, you can see the tapestries given to us by England in 1963 when this building was built. Around its borders, we see two state symbols. One is the cardinal, and the other is the dogwood flower. You can also see the Great Seal of North Carolina right behind his desk. Now we'll take a closer look at these voting boxes that each member uses to vote yes or no on a bill that's being presented to their chamber. This green button is for voting yes, red is for voting no, but you might also see this white button, which members use if they wish to address every person in the room. They push this button, and the speaker is alerted that they wish to speak, and then they use their microphones. Now follow me, and we'll go to the Senate gallery. So now we are in the Senate Visiting Gallery, which is obviously very similar to that in the House, but in here we do things a little bit differently. Like, instead of a Speaker of the House, we have a Lieutenant Governor who also serves as the President of the Senate. And instead of 120 members, we have 50 senators who serve the 50 voting districts of North Carolina. Now we'll go downstairs and take an even closer look. So now we are on the floor of the Senate chamber. Look around you. You may notice that we're under another pyramid that we saw on the roof, and right behind me you can see the Great Seal of North Carolina, just like in the House. But everything else about the room is pretty much different. If you see on the floor, there are 50 gold stars that represent the 50 voting districts of North Carolina, and the seats are all made out of leather, and at the very top, it features gold embossing if that senator has purchased their chair. That embossing just says their name on it, as you can see right over here. You may also notice 12 portraits of important North Carolinians throughout history. My two favorites are that of Senator Abraham Galloway, elected in 1867 after escaping slavery, and that of Senator McKee, who was elected in 1930 and the first woman to serve in the Senate and served 3 terms. Now, you may have noticed these huge brass doors at the entrance of both chambers. They each weigh 1,500 pounds. That's about the same size of a full-grown elephant. Now we'll go to the other side and see the room in between the two chambers. Welcome to the Rotunda, a very special room in between the House and the Senate chambers. If you look around, you may see a few things that look familiar, like another pyramid, or our 12-foot chandelier that we covered upstairs that hangs over our water garden. Now, right behind me is a chapel that goes under that red staircase that we saw before, where anyone is welcome to visit. And in between the chapel doors hangs a painting of Virginia Dare, the first child born to English parents in what would become North Carolina. Now, if you follow me downstairs, we'll see another beautiful piece of art that hangs in this building. Welcome back to the first floor of the Legislative Building, where our 40-foot wide mural called North Carolina is for the Children hangs. It was painted in 1994 by a Gaston County art teacher named James Biggers, and is meant to look like a map unfurled from west coast to east coast, from mountains to ocean, and depicts children all across North Carolina playing with different toys meant to symbolize industries in North Carolina. You may also notice 12 different state symbols in the painting itself. And if you can't see them here, we hope you have an opportunity to come and look in person. Thank you so much for joining us today on a virtual tour of the North Carolina Legislative Building. We hope that you have the opportunity to visit us here in person very soon.